Is it? Okay. Boost use பண்ணேனா பட் இருக்கா ரைட் இருக்கு Yes. So okay, the topics that we are going to see today. So என்னென்ன வந்து பார்க்க போறோம்னா, so the themes are, one is India has successfully conducted 20 years of ART, the antiretroviral therapy for HIV AIDS, okay, for AIDS patients. So a little bit we'll see about AIDS, என்னென்ன treatment methodology India use பண்ணாங்க, what is this ART, when it started. So a little bit we'll be seeing about that. And next one is on recent disasters. Disasters in the sense, in the past 10-15 days, there have been talks about heat waves. So heat waves பத்தி கொஞ்சம் நிறைய நியூஸ் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. Okay. And then about something called as swell waves along the coast of Kerala. அது ஒண்ணு. Okay. And there was an earthquake in Taiwan. Okay, so a little bit we'll see about what these disasters are, how they are caused, why it is happening. And next, third one is about what is it about? Agni Prime missile. Okay. So this was a missile test. It was recently carried out. So what is this Agni Prime missile? What was the test? So that we will see. And after that, Indian workers, some of them have left to Israel. Okay, Indian workers to Israel, they've gone. So Adipati, so why they are going to Israel? So what is the threat and what are the related, mechanisms? What is the legal protection? What is the facilitation for them to go? So that we'll see. And one more is on the green credit program rules. Okay. So what is this green credit program? It is something related, something like compensatory afforestation, something of that sort. So we'll go into what is that. Okay. For that program, rules have been notified. So we'll see what that one is. Okay. So first we'll start with this AIDS thing. So ART 20 years, why we are celebrating it means this was actually started in April 2004 and now we are in 2024. Okay, so this program has been running for 20 years. So ART basically stands for antiretroviral therapy. Okay, ART stands for antiretroviral therapy. So எதுக்காக இந்த therapy basically நம்ம தரோம் அப்படின்னா, we are doing it for suppressing the AIDS virus. The objective is to suppress AIDS, or you can say suppress HIV. Okay, so to suppress the HIV virus. So one is HIV or person after that person gets infected by the disease, you can suppress the virus. And when you suppress the virus, what will happen is the quality of life for that person will improve. அவங்களோட immune system கொஞ்சம் improve ஆகும். Okay, all that will happen and the rate of transmission will also reduce. So basically, suppression means not totally cured. Okay, it is not a total cure, but you will control the rate of multiplication of the virus, because of which the person's body and immunity will improve. And as a result, they will feel more healthy, the quality of life is improved, and also transmission rate will reduce. So this is the objective behind antiretroviral therapy. And so coming to this, okay, when we go into HIV, okay, HIV AIDS, okay. So AIDS is basically, it stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and HIV is the virus which causes it. Okay. So a little bit factual information if we have to see. HIV is basically a retrovirus. Okay, HIV is a retrovirus, and all the genetic code. Okay, so genetic code for the virus, it is contained in RNA. Yes, the genetic code for the virus is contained in RNA. So that is the this information about AIDS virus to know. So such RNA viruses are actually called as retroviruses. Okay, so virus or the genetic code will either be in DNA or RNA, but in case of HIV, it is RNA. Okay, and HIV, when a person actually gets infected by HIV, what happens is in that person's body. So when HIV infects, CD4 count or T cell count reduces. Okay. HIV ஒருத்தருக்கு infection வரும்போது CD4 count or T cell count will reduce. So what is this CD4 or T cell? This a little bit of this, you have to know what this is. See, in human immune system, we have something called as adaptive immunity. So that is நம்ம பாடியில ஒரு disease வரும்போது a body will fight it and remember and keep it in the memory. So that we call as adaptive immunity. And adaptive immunity is facilitated by two type of cells called as T cells and B cells. So AIDS வரும்போது இந்த செல்லோட கவுண்ட் தான் வந்து ரெடியூஸ் ஆகுது. Okay. And both these T cell and B cell both together, they are also called as lymphocytes. Okay, they are called as lymphocytes. And B cell, what B cell will do means produces antibodies, okay, to attack antigens. So antigen is the foreign agent, whatever either disease or a foreign agent, the antigen. So how B cell will react means it will produce antibodies to attack the antigens. Okay. And T cells enna pannuna act as killer cells by directly attacking cells containing virus or whatever the microbe. Okay, so it will act as killer cell. So B cell will actually produce antibodies, whereas the T cells will, they act as killer cells and directly attack the cells containing virus or what do you say, cancerous cells. Even cancerous cells they will get. Cancerous cells. Okay, so that is about T cells and B cells. Yes. So these T cells and B cells, they are white blood cells. Okay. Both of them are WBCs, white blood cells. Just keep in mind that this will produce antibodies and this T cell will actually act as the killer itself. So ஏதாவது ஒரு செல் வந்து வைரஸாலயோ இல்ல ஏதோ ஒரு மைக்ரோபாலயோ அட்டாக் ஆயிருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த செல்லை போய் இது டைரக்டா கில் பண்ணிரும், or it will also kill and attack cancerous cells. Okay, so this is about T cell and B cell. And then coming back to this, so when AIDS வரும்போது வந்து in the human body CD4 count will reduce or the T cell count will reduce. Okay, because the immune system is impaired or immune system under attack அப்படிங்கிறதுனால. And initially when this ART was introduced, there was like what to say, they were saying that for CD4 வந்து some count level has to be there, like certain number of body count has to be there, and the count க்கு கீழ போகும்போது தான் ART will be administered. That was what the strategy was. But from 2017 onwards, okay, there is a strategy of treat all. Okay, so treating everybody, and that is actually under, yeah, it is under the HIV AIDS Act. Okay, under the HIV. Okay, under the HIV AIDS Act, we are treating all. So irrespective of body CD4 count, எவ்வளோ count குறைஞ்சிருந்தாலும் எப்படினாலும் சரி, so everybody will be treated. Okay, so that was since 2017 for universal treatment. Okay, for universal treatment. And next is, okay, and one more thing. Then later on, there was a program called as National AIDS Control Program. Okay. So this is the very important program in India's fight against HIV/AIDS. Okay, National AIDS Control Program or program. And அதுல வந்து என்னென்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, they do free diagnosis. So free diagnosis means finding out whether the person has disease. So ஒருத்தருக்கு AIDS இருக்கா இல்லையான்ட்டு கண்டுபிடிக்கணும், then only treatment can be started. So that week, for that, this program was there. And also there was focus on preventing a parent to child. Okay, parent to child, or we also call it as vertical transmission. Okay, so they focused on one, diagnosing, and one more is preventing parent to child or vertical transmission. So parent to child transmission, how it will happen means during childbirth, okay, pregnancy, by breastfeeding, in the methods லாம் வந்து parent to child transmission நடக்கும். So they focused on preventing that. Okay, and another strategy that was adopted was rapid ART. Rapid ART அப்படிங்கிறது எப்படின்னா, immediately after diagnosis. So ஒருத்தருக்கு AIDS இருக்கு அப்படின்ட்டு கண்டுபிடிச்ச உடனே within 7 days the treatment will be started. Within 7 days after diagnosis. So immediately the ART will start. So that we call as rapid ART. So by these strategies, we have been able to achieve significant reduction in the number of AIDS cases. And one more is, this is like another information you can remember. So parent to child transmission வந்து AIDS க்கு மட்டும் இல்ல, they are also focusing on preventing parent to child transmission of syphilis. Okay, so this is also one another disease. AIDS வந்து வைரஸ்னால காஸ் ஆற டிசீஸ், இது வந்து பாக்டீரியா. Okay, so syphilis is another disease which is caused by bacteria, and this is also a disease which is, we know, which spreads by sexual contact, like AIDS, like how AIDS spreads by sexual contact. அந்த மாதிரி syphilisங்கிறது இன்னொரு disease which spreads by sexual contact, and also there is vertical transmission like mother to child transmission. So அது syphilisக்கும் அந்த strategy adopt பண்றாங்க, so keep that in mind. And yeah, after that, under this NACP, they've said National AIDS Control Program. Under National AIDS Control Program, they've set some strategies like 80% reduction in mortality. So 3 strategy use பண்ணாங்க. அந்த strategy தவிர the targets that have been set are to reduce by 2025 mortality by 80% and 80% reduction in new infection. Both these targets were set. Okay, so this one by 2025. Okay, 80% reduction in mortality and 80% reduction in new infections. And also another one, another 95 95 strategy was implemented. So the 95, 95, 95 என்னன்னா 95% people living with AIDS should know the status. So அவங்களுக்கு AIDS இருக்குன்னா அது வந்து அவங்களுக்கு தெரியணும். 95% of the people who have AIDS should be knowing it. Okay. And another 95 அவங்களுக்கு வந்து treatment should have started. அதாவது ART. Okay. ART should have started for another 95%. Should have. That is after 95% of the people know that they have AIDS. அந்த segment of population 95% வந்து treatment start ஆயிருக்கணும். And one more 95 is for in 95% people where treatment started, there should be suppression of virus. So in 95% of the cases where treatment has started, suppression of the virus should be achieved. So these are some important targets, important things you just have to know. Okay. And this 95, 95, 95 it is in alignment with UN AIDS target. Okay, it is in alignment with UN AIDS target. Okay. And so our national AIDS control program target is aligned with UN AIDS. Okay, so just remember it like that. Shall I change? And another thing with respect to AIDS, another information that you have to know is you can write like AIDS stages. Okay. First is called as acute HIV infection. Acute HIV infection. Acute HIV infection so it is like a beginning or a primary stage. Let's say 2 to 3 weeks after infection. So this stage we call as acute HIV infection. Okay. And adukaprom one more is called as latent HIV infection. Latent HIV infection. So this week here the rate of reproduction of virus is low. That means virus is there in the body, but it is not multiplying effectively. So virus in the body itself, it is a sort of in a weak state. Okay. So rate of reproduction of virus is low. And in the time in the mari AIDS the symptoms will be quite mild. Mild symptoms. Okay. So they call it as latent HIV infection, or they also call it as clinical latent HIV infection. Sort of hidden. அதாவது வெளியே express ஆகாது. Okay. And other one is after that, another type is AIDS. So இது both we were calling as HIV infection. AIDS acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So this AIDS is basically a chronic condition. Chronic condition means lifelong, for a prolonged period. The people who ever யாருக்கெல்லாம் இருக்கோ அவங்க அந்த டிசீஸோட போராடிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. So that we call as chronic. Okay. So this with respect to AIDS, these stages and types you have to know. Okay. Shall I change? And one more a diagnostic test for AIDS. Diagnostic test. So AIDS testing one is called as ELISA. This is a antibody test. So whenever there is an undesirable antigen in the body, நம்மளோட பாடியோட immune system வந்து as a response it will produce antibodies. So on the antibodies detect பண்ணி we can find that this particular virus is there in the body. So that is antibody test. And one more is called as nucleic acid test. So nucleic acid testல வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா directly detects. Okay, so we call it as nucleic acid test or nucleic acid amplification test. Okay, so it is called as NAT or NAT. Okay, so it directly detects the genetic material of the virus. And here the genetic material of the virus is nothing but ribonucleic acid. Okay. So these are the tests that are used in case they ask. Adukapro, I think this much only about AIDS. And one more combat initiative with respect to AIDS that has been adopted is Project Sunrise. Yes, Project Sunrise. So this is by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So on the ministry kadila irukku. And basically to combat spread of AIDS, Inga means in Northeast India. Okay, Northeast India among the drug users. So among the drug addict people in Northeast India, AIDS prevalence is high. So anga vandu AIDS combat panna there is one approach called as Project Sunrise. Okay. So because it has been 20 years in the project start panni 20 in the nala, this week there was one write up about it, and they've summarized what all India has done to fight AIDS. And apart from this, what to say? Okay, so apart from this, they also criticized in a criticism வந்து சொன்னாங்கன்னா it was mentioned that once people start the ART once start பண்ணும்போது they start feeling better, and when they actually start feeling better, they like stop undergoing the treatment. So that is seen as a drawback. Okay, so அது வந்து drawback போட்டுருந்துச்சு. And after that again the virus multiplication rate will increase, transmission rate will increase. So ART oda benefits they had given a lot of statistics saying how it has reduced and all that. So that those statistics are not needed. Okay, these initiatives you remember. And combat problem la enna that people are like they are not continuing the treatment in a full-fledged manner. That is the problem. Okay, that you can write in the criticism. Okay, that they are dropping out of treatment halfway when they are just beginning to feel better, and that should not be the case. Okay. And because that can lead to problems like drug resistance, antimicrobial resistance on the mari prachanala. So this is actually about AIDS. And next one more thing that was there this week regarding the health and diseases. So this week in US in a study it was stated that this e-vapes or e-cigarettes. Okay, so a research study, it has stated that these e-cigarettes are not necessarily healthy alternatives. So conventional in the cigarette quit பண்ணிட்டு e-cigarette route க்கு போனா அது வந்து அவ்வளவு நல்லது இல்ல அப்படினு சொல்லி they have proven with one research. Okay, so a little bit we'll see about what is e-vapes, e-cigarette, what has India done in that regard. Okay, and US researchல அது சொல்லிருக்காங்க. And also you can write that WHO has recommended ban. Okay, it has recommended a ban. So because they can be addictive. So these products can be equally addictive. So e-vapes அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா we also call it as ENDS. So ENDSங்கிறது வந்து electric nicotine delivery system. Okay, so EVAPs are electric nicotine delivery system. So it's now battery based burning. Battery based burning of என்னெல்லாம் burn பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா glycerin plus propylene glycol plus nicotine. Okay, glycerin, propylene glycol and nicotine. So இதெல்லாம் வந்து it will be burnt through battery based power, and that will produce some sort of smoke, and this smoke can be inhaled and exhaled. So actually why they are promoting this kind of thing means conventional cigarettes la vandu that tobacco will be there, right? Tobacco leaf is there, no? So adha vandu burn பண்ணும்போது it produces something called as tar. Okay, conventional normal cigarette vandu அது burn பண்ணும்போது it produces something called that it is stuffed with tobacco leaf, and that tobacco leaf on burning it produces tar. Tar means it is called as total aerosol residue. Okay, so conventional cigarette, this is not to do with e-cigarette, this is in normal cigarette. Okay, this is in normal cigarette. So that tobacco on burning, it will produce tar. Tar is nothing but total aerosol residue. It is basically a particulate matter. Okay, particulate matter. And if the problem is so in the when it is generated, there is a possibility of it being inhaled into the lungs, and it will go into the lungs and it will form a coat along the inner line of the lungs. So that can cause risk of cancer. So other than the conventional cigarette level problem, and the tar problem is eliminated in battery based burning. So that is why this battery based cigarettes were suggested as an alternative. Okay, but now latest research has proven that even in this ENS based system, there can be possibility of heart failure. Some of the chemicals that are used are carcinogenic. Okay, and the nicotine and the flavors that are used can be addictive. அப்புறம் young smokers are getting introduced. So இதெல்லாம் வந்து அந்த ரிசர்ச் ஸ்டடியில சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஹார்ட் ஃபெயிலியர் இருக்கலாம், lung diseases cause பண்ணலாம். Some of the chemicals which are burnt by the end system, they can be carcinogenic. Okay, and because they are flavored, they are addictive. Young age people are also going into it and smoking. So இதெல்லாம் சொல்லி அந்த US based research வந்து it is not advisable ன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. And already WHO also has recommended a ban. Okay, because they're coming in different flavors and they are also highly addictive. So அதுவும் வந்து advisable இல்ல அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்லி so that is the status as of now. Shall I change? And with respect to India, what we have done to protect from e-cigarettes, we made an act called as PECA in 2019. So it is prohibition of e-cigarettes. Okay, so we have actually made an act. So நம்ம வந்து e-cigarettes வந்து officially we have prohibited. Okay, so it is prohibited in India as per this PECA Act of 2019. And conventional tobacco cigarette இருக்குல்ல, so that we call as, for that we have an act called as COPTA Act, and COPTA Act stands for what's the full form of it? Regulation. The conventional tobacco cigarettes are allowed, but the sale is sort of regulated. Yeah, cigarettes and other tobacco products. Cigarettes and other tobacco products act. So here the regulates the sale. So on the sticker, on the cigarette box, and the developer sticker போடணும், warnings are given. So அதெல்லாம் வந்து under this act. We have not, conventional tobacco cigarettes வந்து நம்ம ban பண்ணல, but we are regulating the manufacture, sale, how the labeling should be there. So அதெல்லாம் வந்து facilitate பண்றோம் by this COPTA. Okay, COPTA means Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act. And also we have prohibited ads. Okay, this act also prohibits ads, advertisements prohibit பண்ணுது. Okay, and so you can say regulates sale. Also, it regulates trade, commerce, supply, distribution, everything. And what it prohibits is prohibits ads. So that you can keep in mind. Okay, it prohibits ads. Prohibits ads and mandates warnings. So on the sticker on all the cigarette packet, no branding. Okay, so all this is under COPTA Act. E-cigarettes வந்து நம்ம வந்து ban பண்ணிட்டோம். And at the international level, with respect to cigarettes, there is one WHO framework convention on tobacco control. Okay, WHO framework convention on tobacco control. So this was the first international health treaty adopted by WHO. So first time WHO வந்து the tobacco prevention and to control the proliferation of tobacco worldwide. So they adopted this. Okay, WHO framework convention on tobacco. So it was the first international health treaty under WHO. Yes. Can we change? And so this is about the steps taken and all that. And another information that you can notice, this nicotine அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம்ல, electric nicotine delivery service. This nicotine itself is a substance. It is a plant alkaloid and it is found in tobacco plant. So tobacco plantலயே வந்து இந்த நிக்கோட்டின்ங்கிற கெமிக்கல் இருக்கு. But conventional cigaretteல இருக்கிற problem என்னன்னா, it is that tar, something like that particulate matter. So அந்த smoke வந்து lungs குள்ள போயிட்டு ஒரு coat மாதிரி form ஆகி, that is the main reason for cancer. So, but now because based on research and all that, they are saying even nicotine can be carcinogenic. அப்படின்ட்டு வந்து new research has stated. Okay. So if they're asking if nicotine is found in tobacco plant, you should say yes. Okay. And wherein you can, it is also, it acts as a sedative and stimulant. Okay, it is used as a sedative and stimulant. Okay, so this is about this electronic cigarettes and everything. And next editorial is about Agni Prime missile. Okay, so recently this Agni Prime missile வந்து test பண்ணாங்க. You want light? It's dark? No. Okay, Agni Prime missile testing. So Agni Prime missile testing வந்து it was recently carried out by SFC and DRD. இந்த SFC-னா என்னன்னு வந்து நம்ம லாஸ்ட் வீக் பார்த்தோம். ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிக் ஃபோர்சஸ் கமாண்ட். ஸோ இந்தியாவில் வந்து 2 ட்ரை சர்வீஸ் கமாண்ட் இருக்கு. ஒன்று வந்து in Andaman Nicobar and another one is SFC. So SFC has authority over use of nuclear weapons and all that. So about SFC we'll see some more things. But before that, we'll see what is Agni Prime and everything. Okay, Agni Prime missile testing was carried out. So where it was carried out means near that APJ Abdul Kalam Island. So here only majority Odisha island. Okay, a lot of the missile testing will happen from this island. So anga வந்து இந்த Agni Prime missile அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து this week they tested. So Agni Prime, so it is also called as Agni P. So these missiles are also called as Agni P missiles. So their range is approximately 1000 to 2000 kilometers. Okay, so some of the features of that missile. Missile range was 1000 to 2000 kilometer, and it is a ballistic missile. So ballistic missile, little bit we'll see what ballistic missiles are. What is that technology? From it uses two-stage solid propellant. Okay, so two-stage solid fuel, and it can have a canister-based road mobile launch. Canister means it's like a casing. So மிசைலுக்கு வெளியே வந்து ஒரு கேசிங் மாதிரி ப்ரொடெக்ஷன் மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ அதுக்குள்ள மிசைல் ஸ்டோர் ஆயிருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த கேனிஸ்டர்ல இருந்து வந்து அது வெளியே வந்து then it will fly out. Okay, so that canister can be towed on the road. So that's why canister based road mobile launch. So these are some of the features of that. And another is that it uses MARV. So MARV stands for, shall I change? So MARV அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா, it is based on MARV. Agni Prime is based on MARV. MARV stands for maneuverable advanced re-entry vehicle. Maneuverable advanced re-entry vehicle. So maneuverable advanced re-entry vehicle now basically என்னன்னா, once they start a ballistic missile வந்து இங்க இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகுது. இங்க ஒரு டார்கெட் இருக்குன்னா, it will start and அந்த பாத் வந்து இப்படி அப்படியே ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா ஃப்ளை ஆகி வந்து இங்க விழுந்துடும். ஸோ நடுவில் வந்து பாத்லாம் வந்து மாற்ற முடியாது. ஜென்ரலி இன் பேலிஸ்டிக் மிசைல் தட் இஸ் ஹவ் இட் இஸ். ஸோ இங்க இருந்து தூக்கி போடுவாங்க. தூக்கி போட்டு அதே இடத்துல அந்த டார்கெட் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அடிச்சிடும். அதர்வைஸ் இட் வில் நாட் ஹிட். But maneuverable advanced re-entry vehicle means after the missile is coming, so அந்த warhead வந்து உள்ள வந்து அடிக்குதுல. So it is maneuverable means even after it enters, you can little bit change that path. So இந்த டார்கெட் வந்து இங்க போயிடுச்சுன்னா நம்மளால அதை வந்து இங்க கொண்டு வர முடியும். இல்ல அந்த டார்கெட் வந்து இங்க போயிடுச்சுன்னா அதை வந்து இங்க கொண்டு வர முடியும். So that is maneuverable advanced re-entry vehicle. Generally ballistic missiles அந்த மாதிரி டெக்னாலஜி இருக்காது. ஜென்ரலா எப்படி இருக்கும்னா, ஒன்ஸ் ஒரு டார்கெட் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டா அந்த பாத்ல தான் போய் விழும். ஸோ சப்போஸ் த டார்கெட் ஹஸ் டிஸப்பியர்ட் மீன்ஸ் அப்போ அந்த மிசைல் வேஸ்ட் தான். ஓகே, ஸோ ஏர்லியர் இருந்த அக்னி மிசைல்ஸ்ல இது இல்லை. நவ் தட் டெக்னாலஜி ஹஸ் கம். ஓகே, ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன், யூ கேன் சே, பெட்டர் நேவிகேஷன், கைடன்ஸ், propelling system. So from ground based, you're sitting and controlling. So அதனால அதால வந்து ரீச் பண்ண முடியுது. It is not that you are forgetting it after firing. So அது வந்து அது டார்கெட் வந்து ரீச் ஆதான்னு பார்த்து நம்ம லாஸ்ட் வரைக்கும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். So that is what we mean by navigation, guidance and propelling system. So through that we are achieving this MARV. So earlier in the missiles அந்த MARV வந்து கிடையாது, but now it is there. And this what is this called, the Agni Prime is actually going to be replacing Agni 1, Agni 2. Okay, it is going to replace Agni 1, Agni 2, and what is that called? Yeah, it is mainly targeted at replacing Agni 1 and Agni 2. So Agni 1, Agni 2 ku badala, they are going to go for this Agni Prime. So Agni Prime is also called as, it is new generation. It is Agni Prime is also popularly called as new generation Agni. Yeah, new generation Agni na Agni 1, Agni 2 லாம் வந்து this maneuvering possibility was not there. ஒரு இடத்துல டார்கெட் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அங்கதான் போய் ஹிட் பண்ணும், otherwise it is gone waste. But now in Agni Prime they have this, now it is a recently developed one, so there is the ability to maneuver the re-entry vehicle. So the direction மாத்தி அடிக்க முடியும். So that is why it is called as new generation Agni. And so it is going to be replacing this Agni 1 and 2. Okay, and one more thing is, it can carry all sorts of warheads. So the warheads it can carry are nuclear, conventional, chemical and biology. So in the எல்லா warheadum வந்து அதால கேரி பண்ணும். nuclear warhead, conventional warhead, chemical and biological warhead. All these sort of warheads it can. So basically, it's a nuclear capable missile. And yeah, shall I change? So next is another one is okay. Or before we go for that, we saw that SFC. So in the test carry out பண்ணதுன்னா SFC and DRDO அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்ல. So this SFC, it is basically a tri-service command. So எதுக்கு இந்த SFC இருக்குதுன்னா, why this body is there means to control, to decide how nuclear weapons in the country will be used. So for that only SFC is there, Strategic Forces Command. And the Strategic Forces Command consists of two bodies called as Political Council, and one more is called as Executive Council. Okay, so this is basically called as Strategic Forces Command. So அதுல வந்து Political Council ன்னு ஒன்னு இருக்கு, Executive Council ன்னு ஒன்னு இருக்கு. So Political Council is basically chaired by PM. Okay, it is chaired by PM, and it is the top body to authorize nuclear weapon use. So obviously on the highest level decision வந்து Prime Minister ட்ட தான் இருக்கும். They will decide. This Executive Council, இது வந்து chaired by NSA. Chair is NSA. NSAங்கிறது யாருன்னா National Security Advisor. So this body will imparts advice. Okay, imparts advice to Political Council. This will give advice to Political Council. So இவங்க கொடுக்குற advice வச்சுட்டு this Political Council will decide whether to use or not. And also they implement decision of Political Council. So they will only give the advice to Political Council. அப்புறம் Political Council வந்து decision எடுத்துட்டு வந்து அவங்க இவங்ககிட்ட அதை convey பண்ணும். Again, that decision will be implemented by this what is that body? Executive Council. Okay, so it's like that. Shall I change? Yeah, next is, so this was with respect to this Agni Prime missile, Agni Prime or Agni P, or the new generation Agni missiles. And another test that was carried out recently, இதே மாதிரி தான், that was in March actually. So that was Agni 5. ஆனா அந்த டெஸ்ட் பேர் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா, they didn't call it Agni 5. It was actually testing of Agni 5, but it was called as Mission Divyastra. Okay, Mission Divyastra அப்படின்ட்டு name. So எதுக்கு, what is this mission, this Divyastra mean? First test flight of Agni 5. Okay, but what was the highlight of that mission means? With indigenous MIRV technology. Agni P la வந்து இருந்தது வந்து MARV. MARV is different from MIRV. Okay, MARV is different, MIRV is different. So MIRVங்கிறது எப்படின்னா, it stands for, I think you will be remembering, multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. Yes, multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. So basically இதோட மீனிங் என்னன்னா, ஒரு மிசைல் வந்து ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும்போது, ஸோ இங்க இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றோம், லான்ச் பண்றோம். shall I 1 minute change? Okay, ஸோ இங்க இருந்து லான்ச் பண்றோம்னா இங்க வந்து ஹிட் பண்ணும் போது, பட் இட் வில் கேரி ஒன்லி ஒன் வார்ஹெட். ஸோ மெனோவரபிள்னா அது வந்து நம்ம இங்க போய் மாத்தி அடிச்சுக்கலாம், இல்லை இங்க போய் ஹிட் பண்ணலாம், இஃப் இட் இஸ் மெனோவரபிள் ஆர் மூவபிள். பட் மல்டிபிள், but on the maneuverable, அது வந்து that we have developed now only. So what does this MIRV means? It will carry many warheads. All will detach and fall in different places. So ஒரு 5-6 இடத்துல போய் அந்த warheads விழும். It will be carrying many warheads. So that's why it is called as multiple re-entry vehicles. Multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. So many targets will be there on ground. So at least one miss ஆனாலும் வேற ஏதாவது ஒன்று அடிச்சு. That is the idea behind having this MIRV. So in MIRV, it is just one target. Here it will be multiple things. So in many places it will hit. The idea behind having this MIRV is to boost operational efficiency. So ஒரு missile launch பண்ணிட்ட அப்புறம் ஒரே ஒரு டார்கெட் தான் வச்சிருக்கோம், அது வந்து மிஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா then that missile is waste. But if you're going to hit in some 5-6 places, or it can carry even more than that, means you're targeting some 5-6, at least ஒரு 2-3 அடிச்சா, so for us the task is achieved. So that is the idea behind having this MIRV. Okay, so the idea is to improve the operational efficiency and to boost defense. So basically நம்மளோட outcome வந்து achieve பண்ணணும், மிஸ் ஆகாம achieve பண்றது தான் MIRV. And this MIRV, so why we are so happy about this testing means this technology is basically there only with few countries of the world. P5 countries have. So P5 means US, UK, Russia, China, France. So அவங்ககிட்ட இருக்கு MIRV. Apart from that, Pakistan is having Israel. Okay, US, UK, Russia, France, China, and Pakistan has, Israel has, India also has. So these are the allied, or they are the league of nations who are having this technology. Okay, so now India is also part of this. So on the MIRV technology, for very long it was the part of this mission. So Agni 5 நம்ம டெவலப் பண்ணும்போது MIRV பண்ணணுங்கிறது வந்து it was part of the vision, but now only they've done the test flight. Okay, still it is not operationalized. ஒரு test flight conduct பண்ணிருக்காங்க. And the test flight name was Mission Divyastra. Okay. And one more, some more facts about this Agni 5. So Agni 5, so basically it is called as ICBM. So what is ICBM? You will be knowing, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. So long range target hit பண்ண முடியும். So ICBM means greater than 5,000 kilometers. So we can even target China with this. Okay, with this missile, Beijing, China. Okay, and it is a 3-stage solid fuel. Okay, 3-stage solid fuel missile, and it is a surface to surface. All the Agni missiles, okay, not just Agni 5, Agni Prime, எல்லா அக்னியுமே வந்து surface to surface missile. Surface to surface, that means land to land. And it is nuclear, this you'll know, nuclear capable. And another is it works based on fire and forget. So once நம்ம fire பண்ணிட்ட அப்புறம் again will not alter the path. So அந்த எந்த path set பண்ணிட்டோமோ அந்த pathலே தான் போய் அது வந்து hit பண்ணும். So Agni 5 works based on fire and forget principle. Yeah. So this is about this Agni 5, and just I'll you Agni, so under Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. So this was a program which was started in 1980s to achieve self-reliance in missile technology. So adla start பண்ண program, adla வந்து we developed missiles like Agni. So Agni series adla, அதுக்கப்புறம் Prithvi, Trishul, Akash, Nag. So இது எல்லாமே அதுல பண்ணோம். And Prithvi, Agni இது ரெண்டுமே வந்து surface to surface. Okay, this is surface to surface, but it is short range. Okay, surface to surface, short range. Trishul வந்து surface to air. Okay, Trishul is surface to air, but it is short range. Trishul is surface to air, short range. Akashum வந்து surface to air தான், surface to air, but it is medium range. Okay, so just like a recap. So Prithvi is surface to surface short range, Trishul is surface to air short range, Akash on the surface to air medium range, Nag is third generation anti-tank missile. So anti-tank missile na the tank, armored vehicles, something will be there on the warfield, no? So to hit that, we use these Nags. Then Agni was taken outside this program. After Agni 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another separate program. As a separate thing itself, they started running it. But initially, Agni was under this only. Okay. So just remember these things. Okay. And yeah, coming to this ballistic missile. So about little bit about ballistic missiles. So ballistic missile. So this Agni Prime, Agni 5, எல்லாமே வந்து ballistic missile. So இது வந்து எப்படின்னா, so your ballistic missile will have a path like this. So this path is based on principle of what? We call it as projectile motion. We call it as projectile motion. The projectile motion na enna first தான் நம்ம வந்து பவர் கொடுத்து அதை தூக்கி போடுவோம். After that it will go by the its own force and then atmospheric gravity, the gravity of earth and all that. Okay. So first in the initial phase you have to give it a push, and after that it will go on its own. So basically இதுல வந்து you will have like 3 phases. This we call as powered flight. Powered flight, or we call this as boost phase. Boost phase. Because we are powering it and making it to go. Okay, just imagine you're throwing a stone means first அது வந்து நம்ம தூக்கி போட கொஞ்சம் thrust கொடுப்போம்ல. So that is called as powered flight. And இது வந்து we call it as a mid-course phase, or we call it as outer atmospheric or mid-course phase. And last one, re-entry phase. So this is in this stage the missile is outside the atmosphere. So ballistic missiles they go for a higher height. Height வந்து கொஞ்சம் ஜாஸ்தியா போகும். So அப்படி ஜாஸ்தியான height போகும்போது in the outer atmosphere it will be. So that we call as outer atmospheric phase or mid-course phase. So here only the speed will be actually maximum speed. Okay, so இந்த இடத்துல வந்து திரும்ப உள்ள வர ஆரம்பிச்சோம் missile. So இங்க வந்து ground based target இருக்கும், அதை வந்து hit பண்ணணும். And in this phase actually there will be deceleration. Deceleration or reduction in speed. Here you are giving that thrust or power for it to fly. Okay, so just remember that ballistic missile will have like this 3 phases. And so basically, so in the மாதிரி ஒரு 3 phase இருக்கும், and this is based on the principle of projectile motion that I already told you. Okay, projectile motion, and it uses powered flight in the initial stage. So 3 stageல அந்த first stage பார்த்தோம்ல, initial phase or the boost phase. So அந்த இடத்துல மட்டும் the powering of the flight will be there. That is powered flight in initial phase. Okay, mostly unguided because it is flying outside the atmosphere, then it is re-entering on its own. So முதல்ல வந்து செட் பண்ணி வச்ச பாத்து தான், அதுக்கப்புறம் you cannot change. So you say it is mostly unguided. Why we are saying mostly unguided means cruise missile, one another type of missile is there. So அதோட பாத்து வந்து இந்த மாதிரி இப்படி இருக்கும். So that throughout it will be guided and controlled from the ground, but that's not the case with ballistic missile. இது வந்து once இப்படி தூக்கி போட்டா அதுவா செட் பண்ணி on its own only it will be going. And yeah, mostly unguided, and you can say it is less precise. Okay, less precise. Why means once you're throwing and hitting, if it may hit or it may not hit. So it is less precise. And something else. Mostly unguided, and most of the flight is unpowered. Most of flight is unpowered. So that I told you, right? Initial phase la mattum that powering will be there. Rest of it will go on its own. And it uses actually rocket engine. It uses rocket engine. So rocket engine அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா it uses fuel plus oxidizer. Cruise missiles will actually use jet engine. So jet engine na air breathing engine. They are within the atmosphere flying at lower height. So atmosphere la irundhe adu oxygen eduthukum. Separate oxygen carry panna venna. Idu vandu higher heights la outer atmosphere la fly pandradanaala oxygen illadha edathula la idu parkum. So it will carry oxygen. Okay. So this one is based on rocket engine technology, whereas cruise missile is based on jet engine technology. Jet engine is air breathing engine. Okay. Air breathing means it will take oxygen from the atmosphere. And velocity, one more is velocity varies throughout flight. You can write that. So velocity varies throughout flight. Okay, so first ஒரு ஸ்டேஜ்ல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு பவர்ட் ஃபிளைட்ல ஒரு வெலாசிட்டி இருக்கும். அப்பர் அட்மாஸ்பியர் when it is in the mid course it will have one velocity. Re-entry ஸ்டேஜ்ல வேற velocity. So அந்த மாதிரி velocity vary ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். So all this actually is in comparison with cruise missile. So cruise missile கூட நீங்க கம்பேர் பண்ணணும். அப்போ cruise missile வந்து it will have comparatively constant velocity. Okay, so everything you compare with cruise missile. Okay, I'm not writing about cruise missile here. Cruise missile, if you see, it is more precise. Okay. And powered flight வந்து இதுக்கு initial phase na cruise missile வந்து throughout it will be powered and throughout it will be guided. So like that you should compare and make that analysis. And yeah, and lower precision that I've written, right? And then another problem is that it is easy to detect. Easy to detect. So ஒரு ballistic missile வந்துச்சுன்னா ஈஸிலி இங்க இருந்து வரது வந்து அந்த சைட்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு கவுண்டர் மிசைல் போட்டு they will attack and stop. So that the missile which comes from the other side that we call as interceptor missile. So because the path cannot be changed in mid flight, opposite side la irundhu interceptor missile போட்டு இந்த missile counter பண்ணி they will. So when two countries are fighting, let's say if India is sending a missile, means Pakistan can intercept and stop our missile. So that we call as interceptor missile. Okay, so basically it is easy to attack, to detect and intercept your range. To detect and intercept. Okay, so this is with respect to this ballistic missiles. And ballistic missiles, once when they start, it will not stop anywhere in between. It will go and hit the target region only. In between, if it has to be stopped, means it has to be by interceptor missile. Interceptor missile தான் நடுவுல வந்து ஸ்டாப் பண்ணும். That is cruise missile, because it is fully controlled from ground. It can be stopped in between also. That difference is also there. Yes. Shall I change? So this is about this ballistic Agni Prime and Agni. What is this mission Divyastra? Okay, and next one is about I think green credit program. Green credit, yeah. Green credit. Okay, so GCP is also called as GCP. So in the green credit program, அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா, what it is about means it is basically about facilitating good environmentally friendly action. So environmentally friendly action are something like planting trees, conserving the soil and watershed management and so on. So in these kind of activities, the idea is that see, we are facing many environmental problems, no? So environment protect பண்றதுக்கு சில activities பண்ணணும். Only then the environment will be protected. But even if that protection of environment can be incentivized and if it can be monetized, so அதாவது some entities like let's say industries or individuals or organizations or farmer producer organizations. இந்த மாதிரி யாருனாலும் they can do some environmental friendly activity. And let's say அவங்க வந்து ஒரு acre full of trees they've grown means that will be assessed and it will be given a monetary value. And then they can sell it to someone who is cutting down trees to make industry. So in the industry cut down பண்றவங்களுக்கு வந்து already there is a norm called as compensatory afforestation rate. So already that norm is there. So this green credit program they're actually planning to link to that also. So compensatory afforestation வந்து நீங்க பண்ணாம green credit you can actually buy from somebody who has already done afforestation. So அந்த மாதிரி so basically the idea is to promote environment friendly action. Okay, so basically now as of now MOEFCC has notified rules. MOEFCC has notified the rules. And basically this green credit program is under Environment Protection Act. Okay, it is going to be implemented under Environment Protection Act. So they may ask whether it is compensatory afforestation act because afforestation is a very important component under this, but it's not under compensatory afforestation, but Environment Protection Act under EPA 1986. So basically in the first phase, phase 1 is going to be there. So phase one la வந்து என்ன activities identify பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னா they've identified some activities which will qualify for green credit. So the activities identified are one is afforestation, another one is water conservation or watershed management. These two practices have been identified. Watershed okay, afforestation also on different types of lands, on wastelands, on barren lands, இந்த மாதிரி வேற இடத்துல நடக்கிற afforestation, அதுக்கப்புறம் water conservation. So இதெல்லாம் வந்து identified under phase 1. And phase 2 ல என்னென்ன activities are going to qualify for green credit means in phase 2 the activities are going to be like sustainable buildings, green infra. Okay, so sustainable buildings means green buildings, green infrastructure, air pollution reduction activities, air pollution reduction. Okay, then waste management, then sustainable agriculture, then mangrove restoration and conservation, that is also identified. Okay, mangrove restoration and conservation. So these are all identified under phase 2. Okay, so these are identified under phase 2. And so degraded land, wasteland, and afforestation வந்து எங்கெல்லாம்னா it is under degraded land, waste. Okay, so in all these places. So these are the set of activities. So இதை ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிருக்காங்க. And so under this private or other entities, so they will basically they will be allowed to carry out or finance afforestation under supervision of state forest department. So whoever is willing to do this can do, and that activity whatever that afforestation, so first phase la paathom afforestation nu paathom, watershed conservation and management paathom. So that they have to do under the supervision of state forest department. Okay, and but they will carry out our finance, and it will be supervised under State Forest Department. And one body called as ICFRD. ICFRD means Indian Council of Forest Education and Research. Okay, so in the body enna pannona 2 years, okay, 2 years after start will assess and identify. Okay, so ஒரு patch of landல வந்து afforestation பண்ணி ஒரு 100 trees வளர்க்குறாங்கன்னா அந்த 100 trees வந்து how it is growing, how it is surviving, அதெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த ICFRங்கிற பாடி வந்து அசஸ் பண்ணி அனலைஸ் பண்ணி okay, if it is growing properly, சரியா வளர்த்திருக்காங்க, this tree will survive and contribute to ecosystem services, like that if they feel, means one credit will be given for that tree. So who is the certifying agency means ICFR. Okay, so tree and will give credits, and it will give example 1 per tree. So some sort of a parameter, okay, some monetary value, ஏதோ ஒன்று வந்து it will be assessed. And so these so let's say somebody has created 100 trees or acre full of trees வளர்த்துக்கிறாங்கன்னா, so somebody who's diverting the forest for non-forest activity, that person can buy. So that is why it is called as green credit. Okay, and as of now, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have notified the rules, and 10 states they have identified over 3,853 hectares. Okay, they've 3,853 hectare of degraded land. Okay, degraded forest land has been identified by different states. So 10 states வந்து ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிருக்காங்க இவ்வளோ land. So they have said that இவ்வளோ degraded forest land இருக்கு. So somebody whoever is willing can come and do afforestation here. நீங்க பண்ணீங்கன்னா நாங்க உங்களுக்கு அதற்கான மானிட்டரி வேல்யூ வந்து கொடுப்போம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி some 10 states have identified. Okay, and shall I change? So this is very closely related to now this is about green credit program. Okay, this is under Environment Protection Act, and because we are talking about similar thing, let's also see what is this compensatory afforestation. Okay, there is one another act called as Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act. So இதுல இந்த ஆக்டோட objective என்னன்னா, so earlier act was to incentivize environmentally positive actions. அதாவது யாருனாலும் பண்ணலாம். Basically you should do something that should contribute to the environment. நீங்க அது பண்ணீங்கன்னா நாங்க உங்களுக்கு reward கொடுக்கிறோம். Somebody who is destroying the environment can buy that from you, and we will give you money for that. That was the object. That was the scheme of the earlier green credit program. இது வந்து old. I think you will be knowing compensatory afforestation. So whenever forest is diverted, okay. So when forest land diverted, why they will divert means they will divert it for non-forest use, so industrial purpose or for building houses, settlements, ஏதோ ஒன்னுக்காக forest land divert பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா compensate by creating new forest on equal land size. So let's say they're diverting 100 acres of land for one industrial park means இன்னொரு பக்கத்துலயே ஒரு as close as possible. It should be as close as possible. Okay, as near as possible. They should identify another 100 acres of land and create new forest there. Okay, 100 acres identify பண்ணி new forest create பண்ணணும். That is one. Otherwise, they can do afforestation on. Okay, new forest வந்து புது forest equal amount of area பண்ணலாம், or afforestation on twice the amount of degraded forest. So degraded forest na அங்க forest ஓட quality அவ்வளவு நல்லா இல்ல, tree canopy density வந்து ரொம்ப குறைஞ்சிருச்சு, trees may be under disease. So இதெல்லாம் வந்து we call as degraded forest. previous scheme also we saw that ஒரு 3853 hectares வந்து states identify பண்ணிருக்காங்க degraded forest அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்ல. அப்படின்னா அங்க அது ஃபாரஸ்ட் இருக்கு, அங்கங்க ட்ரீஸ் இருக்கு, பட் ட்ரீ ஹேஸ் டு பி டென்ஸ், அந்த ஃபாரஸ்ட் ஹெல்த் ப்ராப்பரா இருந்தாதான் இட் ஆக்ட் as a good carbon sink. So when that is not there, they have to rejuvenate and improve the health of the forest. So ஒன்னு 100 acres டைவர்ட் பண்ணா 100 acres of new forest create பண்ணலாம், இல்லைன்னா 200 acres of degraded forest இருந்துச்சுன்னா அங்க வந்து ட்ரீஸ் இன்னும் வளர்த்து boost that ecosystem. So that is how compensatory afforestation fund act is functioning. And so this law you remember. And next is for to facilitate this, there is compensatory afforestation fund. Okay, so இதுக்கு வந்து compensatory afforestation fund இருக்கு. One is at the national level, another is at the state level. National level ஒரு fund, அப்புறம் இன்னொரு another fund is at the state level. National level fundல வந்து எப்படின்னா, so let's say one company A is diverting forest for some purpose, means and whatever compensatory afforestation they money they pay 10%. So let's say suppose they're paying some 1,000, means or 10% of the money they will pay to national compensatory afforestation fund, and 90% will be diverted to state compensatory afforestation. So this will be linked to public account of India, and this will be linked to public account of state. Public account of India and public account of state. Yes. And this another thing that you have to know is என்னென்ன funds contribute பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா NPV. NPV stands for net present value of forest, and fund for compensatory afforestation. Okay, net present value of forest. Net present value means it is a computer value based on ecosystem services and all that. And the value approved fund for compensatory afforestation and some project specific payments. So in the மூணு இதுவும் சேர்ந்து வந்து whoever is diverting the forest they'll be paying. So இது மூணுத்தும் சேர்ந்து வந்த amount வந்து 10% will go into national fund and 90% to state fund. Both will be under public account. And in the funds manage பண்றதுக்கு we have one national compensatory afforestation management and planning authority national level. State level வந்து state compensatory afforestation management and planning authority. So these two bodies are created under this act. Okay, so they will be facilitating the afforestation. So in the afforestation மட்டும் தான் பண்ணணும்னு இல்ல. So the money actually can be used for, one is afforestation, okay, then wildlife management, animals, okay, animals protect panna, something regarding the animals, say you're protecting tigers with it, lion with it, is used for Project Elephant, and the different things. Okay, so wildlife protection, then what else it is used for? Relocation of villages. அதாவது ஒரு இடத்துல ஒரு நேஷனல் பார்க் சாங்சுரி ஏதாவது வச்சாங்கன்னா அங்க வந்து பீப்புள் இருந்துட்டு இருந்தாங்கன்னா அவங்கள வந்து வெளியேற்றுவாங்க. அண்ட் பீப்புள் இஃப் தேர் ஹேவிங் லேண்ட் ஓனர்ஷிப், நேஷனல் பார்க்குள்ளயோ சாங்சுரிக்குள்ளேயோ மக்களுக்கு வந்து லேண்ட் ஓனர்ஷிப் இருந்தா அவங்களுக்கு வந்து வேற எங்கேயாவது லேண்டு கொடுத்து காம்பன்சேட் பண்ணிட்டு அவங்க இந்த இடத்துல இருந்து அவுத்துருவாங்க. ஸோ that money can be used for that also. Okay, relocation of villages inside PS. PS means protected areas like national parks, sanctuaries. Okay, so it is used for afforestation, wildlife protection, relocation of villages, or inside and relocation of villages from protected areas. Okay, then it is used for forest fire management. Forest fire management use பண்ணுவாங்க. And some infrastructure creation inside forest. In order to protect forest, some infrastructure creation will be done. Forest bridge, roads, small things for the forest officials to go and see and inspect. So just in maram nattradhukku mattum illa, so for all these other activities also that money will be used. Okay, And also they even use it in catchment area treatment. நம்ம அந்த phase 1ல பார்த்தோம்ல water and soil conservation. So you can simply say watershed conservation. So these are the various areas in which the money will be used. Okay, but despite this compensatory afforestation act, because despite the fund being there, despite the law being there and all that, enna problem na, the problem is that most of the money is lying unused. A reason is that இப்போ 100 acres of forest வந்து அவங்க டைவர்ட் வெட்டி வந்து எடுத்துருவாங்க. Okay, they will take out the 100 acres of forest, but it will be difficult for them to find another 100 acres. So they'll chop down the tree, they'll bring some industry over here, but finding another land nearby becomes a big question mark. So and the fund வந்து இருக்கும், it will be lying unused without doing any compensatory afforestation. So identifying land that too nearby itself is the biggest problem. Okay, so the Compa fund is actually in many cases lying unused. They're taking the money, but it is lying unused because land is not there, and there is a need to identify that parcel. Or barren land இருக்கும், அங்க சரியா ஃபாரஸ்ட் வளர்க்க முடியாது, அந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு. And this green credit linking it to compensatory afforestation, that has also become a controversial issue. So green credit la வந்து நம்ம நிறைய activities பார்த்தோம். Phase 1 we said afforestation and watershed conservation. Phase 2 la வந்து they spoke about green infra, sustainable buildings, sustainable agriculture. அதே எப்படி ஃபாரஸ்ட் கட் பண்ணிட்டு சஸ்டைனபிள் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர். வாட் இஸ் ஃபாரஸ்ட், வாட் இஸ் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர்? ஃபாரஸ்ட் இஸ் அ ஹியூஜ் கார்பன் சிங்க். Agriculture is very insignificant compared to that forest. So many environmentalists are questioning how can you link green credit program to compensatory afforestation. So green credit program has wide variety of activities. Yeah, we also saw air pollution reduction, we saw waste management. How can you link that to forest there? Okay, so that and the green credit program la adu or criticism. So just note that also. Okay. So this is about this green credit program and afforestation and all that. Yeah, another thing, again with respect to environment, another theme that we are going to see is green H2 push. So National Green Hydrogen Mission, we have something like that. Okay, National Green H2 Mission. Okay, National Green Hydrogen Mission. So this is actually by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So அவங்க தான் வந்து nodal ministry to conduct this program. So National Green Hydrogen Mission வந்து நம்ம எதுக்கு வச்சிருக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னா, basically we want to achieve energy independence. So you know that India is importing a lot of fossil fuels. நம்மளுக்கு வந்து adequate coal நம்மளுக்கு வந்து we are importing a lot. Fossil fuel also, like petrol, crude oil, we are importing a lot. Both we are importing. So basically we are not having energy independence. So coal we have to rely on foreign players. Majority of crude oil, 80% is coming from foreign players. So India actually wants to achieve self-reliance in energy sector. We want to be Atmanirbhar. So அதுக்காக ஒரு long-term mission plan தான் National Green Hydrogen Mission. And hydrogen is a substance which has very high calorific value. Okay, so calorific value is very high. So it can be a potential future fuel. Okay, so hydrogen is a potential future fuel because it is also, one is that calorific value on the higher, that is one. And another thing is it is a clean fuel. It can be a very, very clean fuel. So fossil fuels burn பண்ணா வந்து CO2, NO2, SO2 இதெல்லாம் வந்து release ஆகும். When you burn coal or natural gas or petrol, எது burn பண்ணாலும் you are going to get CO2, NO2, SO2 and many other polluting substances. But when you burn hydrogen, you are going to get only heat plus H2. These are only going to be the out products. Okay, on combustion of H2, the products are only going to be this. So we want to take out CO2, NO2, SO2 and all the greenhouses gas, not just CO2, NO2, SO2. Every greenhouse gas we want to remove from atmosphere. So we are actually looking at some other sort of fuels. Okay, so you can also say India we have this what is that called as this mission is also in line with our Panchamitra goals. Panchamitra goal, you know what it is, right? COP 26 la வந்து நம்ம இந்த இது செட் பண்ணோம். Yes, Glasgow Summit of UNFCCC. And we set various targets. One target is carbon neutrality by 2070. So okay, adukulla pola. So it is line in line with Panchamitra, that you can say. And yeah, one more thing. So one is that energy independence will have. One more is clean development. It is in line with Panchamitra. And another target under this green hydrogen mission is we are looking at becoming an energy exporter. India wants to become an energy exporter. So apart from reducing energy import, okay, apart from reducing coal import, apart from reducing crude oil import, at one point we want to produce so much green hydrogen and export it to the world. Okay, so அதுவும் நம்மளோட இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமோட விஷன்ல இருக்கு. Okay, so basically this national green hydrogen mission is by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and for this around 20,000 crore fund has been allocated. Okay, 20,000 crore allocation, and yeah, under that there is one mission okay, and it targets 5 million metric tons of green H2 annually. So annually the target is to produce 5 million metric tons, 5 MMT, and 125 gigawatt of green energy of green hydrogen by 2030. இதெல்லாம் அந்த மிஷன்ல உள்ள targets. Okay, and under that mission we are also having a component called as site. Okay, siteங்கிறது வந்து stands for strategic intervention for green hydrogen transition. So I'll tell you what the site is. Shall I change? So site அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா, see green hydrogen எப்படி produce பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, how this H2 is produced means generally all H2, not just green, electrolysis of water. Okay, electrolysis of water. Okay, before we go for that, one more component is also right, green hydrogen hubs. Okay, so green hydrogen hub means in certain states, some places will be identified where this green hydrogen production capacity will be installed. So எங்கெல்லாம் வந்து அந்த green hydrogen production capacity install பண்ண போறாங்களோ அந்த இடத்தெல்லாம் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அதெல்லாம் வந்து green hydrogen hub அப்படின்ட்டு அதுக்கு பேர். Okay, so yeah, coming to this, so hydrogen வந்து basically it is by electrode, not just green hydrogen. Generally hydrogen is by how it is produced means by electrolysis of water. So water electrolyze பண்ணும்போது you're going to have H2 plus O2. So H2 is what you want. So in the electrolysis of water is a power consuming activity. Okay, it is a power consuming activity, and அந்த power வந்து renewable source ல இருந்து வந்தா, so this electrolysis க்கு வந்து electricity தேவையில்ல. So this electricity, when it is from a renewable source, that we call as green H2. அதாவது solar powerல இருந்து வரலாம், wind powerல இருந்து வரலாம். Okay, and similarly we have gray H2. Gray H2 means from natural gas, not from renewable power. When the electrolysis of water, the power used in electrolysis of water, when it comes from natural gas, that we call as gray H2. அப்புறம் black brown இருக்குல்ல, black brown means from what? Coal. Different types of coal. Coalல வந்து இந்த brown coal, lignite, அதுல இருந்து வந்தா brown, அதுல இருந்து எடுத்த பவர்ல இருந்து electrolysis பண்ணா brown hydrogen. Other varieties of anthracite, bituminous, அந்த மாதிரி கோல்ல இருந்து எடுத்த பவர் வச்சு எலக்ட்ராலிசிஸ் பண்ணா அது வந்து black hydrogen. Gray is from natural gas. அப்புறம் இன்னொரு கேட்டகரி வந்து blue. Yes, blue hydrogen வந்து it may be from natural gas, or it may be from coal, or it may be from crude oil, whatever. But என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா carbon capture is. Yes, so in the power generation எல்லாம் carbon emissions would have gone into atmosphere. No, and the carbon வந்து எப்படியோ capture பண்ணிடுறாங்க, or somehow they would have compensated. So carbon capture or carbon sequestration involved, no? That we call as blue hydrogen. So you're understanding this, right? And the different color put. And the site-ங்கிறது என்னன்னா, so green hydrogen means it is from a solar, wind, or any sort of renewable energy. So this is what our mission is about. And site mission, when I told you that it means, it stands for strategic intervention for green hydrogen transition. So அதாவது we are saying this electrolysis of H2O, right? So for that, electrolyzers, that is a device, okay, that is the equipment used, and that has to be made indigenously. Okay, so we are looking at making that in an indigenous manner. So that is called as strategic intervention for green hydrogen transition. Okay, without importing the electrolyzer, we'll be making the electrolyzer here. அதுக்கப்புறம் electrolyzers manufacture பண்றது, electrolyzerல இருந்து green hydrogen எடுக்கிறது, இதெல்லாம் சில ஏரியால நடக்கும். Some green hydrogen parks, அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு something like that will be established. That is what we are going to call as green hydrogen hubs. Okay. And one more with respect to green hydrogen, one more reason why it is. So I told you that why hydrogen, I told you that it has calorific value and it is a clean fuel. So இது நம்ம பார்த்தோம், emission இருக்காது, highest calorific value. It has calorific value which is even greater than a coal and petrol, diesel. எல்லாத்த விட ஜாஸ்தி calorific value இதுல தான் இருக்கு. And இன்னொரு reason வந்து என்னன்னா, another reason is that it is light weight of H fuel cells. See, currently we are moving to battery-based cars, but இப்போ உள்ள battery-based cars லாம் வந்து they are sort of heavy. அது lithium-ion batteries ஆ இருக்கட்டும், whatever material we are using in the battery, all are elements which are heavy. So the battery itself is heavy. Whereas இப்போ நம்ம lightweight H fuel cells which car use பண்ண போறோம்னா, that will reduce the weight of the vehicle, weight of the battery. Okay, so that for that also, that means payload capacity can increase. So it is this is actually beneficial for heavy duty trucks. Okay, so they can carry more load, gain payload capacity. Okay, they gain payload capacity. Heavy duty trucks la instead of having conventional battery, hydrogen battery போட்டா அவங்க வந்து battery weight விட battery weightல வந்து vehicle carrying capacity lose ஆறதை விட they can transport people, transport and the freight or goods or ஏதோ ஒன்று. So heavy duty trucks க்கு வந்து அது யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். So these are the reasons why we are targeting green H2 and H2 சொல்லிட்ட அப்புறம் we have to move towards green H2 only because that is the cleanest. We saw the other forms, right? And now there is also some problems. There are some problems which are associated with the use of H2. So what are the problems means? So the problems. So H2 transition shift the usage. அதுல இருக்கிற problems என்னன்னா, one is that H2 is highly inflammable. Okay, so prone to high risk. Highly inflammable na storage வந்து ப்ராப்பரா இருக்கணும். Otherwise there is risk of inflammation, explosion, அந்த மாதிரி issues இருக்கு. And next issue is with respect to transport and storage. So basically how it is transported and stored means it has to be transported, it has to be stored as under high pressure as a gas. The storage is under high pressure as a gas. So and the storage high pressure தேவை, high pressure cylinders, அதோடு that storage is quite expensive and difficult. Another problem is that in liquid form, in cryogenic temperatures. Okay, cryogenic temperature means less than minus 180. Okay, so on avlo temperature reach pandrathu, that is also expensive. So that itself is energy intensive. Okay, so high pressure, under high pressure it is stored as a gas or in liquid form under cryogenic temperature. Both the storage techniques are expensive. And expensive mattum illa, thandi risk is also there. Okay, because it is highly inflammable. And overall, our next problem is that green H2 production is bit expensive. So the green H2 production by electrolysis of water, producing by electrolyzers, that is also quite expensive. So these are the problems. Okay. So yeah, there was one editorial regarding this green hydrogen push, why it is needed. So what are the problems? This is about that. Okay. This is about this green energy and all that. Next is about disasters. Okay. So I told you this week lot of disasters happened. So we'll see a little bit about all that. Okay. So one was this swell waves. Okay, it's called as swell waves, or the term is called as Kalla Kadal. Okay. இது வந்து கேரளால நடக்கிற ஒரு phenomenon. Okay, swell waves in Kerala. So it happens in many along the Indian coast, but most common in Kerala. Okay, so that phenomenon is called as Kalla Kadal, and it is a UNESCO approved. Okay, UNESCO approved term. Okay, so ஏன் கள்ளக்கடல் means sea is acting like a thief and entering into land. So well, வீட்டுக்குள்ள எப்படி திருடன் வந்து சொல்லாம வந்த மாதிரி, like that sea வந்து தன் கடல்ல உள்ள தண்ணி வந்து லேண்டுக்குள்ள without any prior warning or notice it will come. So அந்த லோக்கல் லாங்குவேஜ்ல வந்து அப்படி கள்ளக்கடல் கடல் தானா லைக் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஓகே, and so how it happens means, how it is occurring means, so no, first we'll see what it is. So basically it is a form of coastal flooding. Okay, coastal flooding. We also call it as flash flooding. Flash flooding now, why it is called flash flooding means it is happening suddenly without notice. Adanala we call it as flash flooding. Any flood which happens anywhere suddenly without notice, that is flash flood. If glacial lake outburst valiya nadanda, that is also flash flood. Or a dam failure valiya nadanda, that is also flash flood. Suddenly if a place gets flooded, that we call as flash flood. Within a flash, within a minute, within a short while it is happening, means flash flood. So இதுவும் ஏன் flash flooding னா திடீர்னு வந்து sea வந்து லேண்டுக்குள்ள வந்துடுது. So that's why it's called as flash flooding. And without any prior change in local wind pattern. So local winds லாம் எந்த சேஞ்சஸும் இருக்காது. So ஒருவேளை wind pattern changeனால நடந்துச்சான்னு பார்த்தா that is also not the reason. Okay, so suddenly it is happening, and it occurs mainly in pre-monsoon season. So mainly it is a phenomenon which occurs in pre-monsoon season. Okay, so it can cause problems along the coast, like either in the agricultural land, arable land, that can be affected. And let's say if some houses are there, that can be affected. So it can cause some amount of local damage. And how it occurs, so this is about what it is and எப்படி நடக்குது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா, so it is not due to local change in wind pattern. So then how it is occurring means, it has been seen to be associated with low pressure, like let's say like mid ocean cyclones, hurricanes. Okay, so it can be associated with mid ocean cyclones and hurricanes. and it can also be due to fierce gale winds in mid-ocean. So fierce winds in the mid-ocean region. So mid-ocean and the water generate agi, it will travel and come to the coast. And now the thing in Kerala, it is due to Atlantic Ocean low pressure zone. So as of now, it is happening in Kerala due to a low pressure zone which has developed in Atlantic Ocean. Okay, and South Atlantic. Yeah, it is because of the low pressure zone in South Atlantic. So that has traveled and come into Kerala. So generally in the, it is called as swell waves, right? So in the swell waves on the, it is happening, now it has been witnessed in Kerala, but it can happen in Kerala, it can happen in Lakshadweep, okay? It can happen in Odisha, AP, TN, Karnataka. In எல்லா இடத்துலயும் வந்து it is quite possible. Okay, but it's more common along Kerala and Lakshadweep. Yes. And warning for this, okay, this இதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு வார்னிங்கும் கொடுப்பாங்க. That warning is given by INCOIS. INCOIS stands for Indian National Center for Ocean Information System. So oceans வந்து continuous monitor பண்ற body தான் INCOIS. Indian National Center for Ocean Information Systems. So it is located in Hyderabad. Okay, and it is under Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Earth Sciences. Okay, it is under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Ministry of Earth Sciences. So இவங்க வந்து ocean level வந்து they will be studying the wind, the wave, எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து monitor பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. Tsunami, everything they'll be monitoring. So they gave, they give forecast. Okay, so they give this swell surge forecast about a week in advance. So for this also they gave, okay, this time also for this phenomenon also they gave forecast. So it's not by IMD, இதுல வந்து forecast கொடுக்கிறது வந்து INCOIS. Okay, so generally all these cyclone and everything IMD கொடுக்கும், but இந்த இதுக்கு வந்து INCOIS. Okay, so they'll be studying everything related to ocean. They'll be studying pressure, temperature, wave, wind speed, everything they'll be studying. For tsunami warning also, this is the key body, so remember that. Okay, and yeah, so this is about this Kerala swell wave phenomenon. And the next one, the heat waves. So entire country full everywhere, somewhere or the other heat waves are happening because it is summer, right? Now it's April. Yeah, so heat waves have started and it's happening. So generally itself, heat wave means period of abnormally high temperature. Heat wave is a period of abnormally high temperature, and it is very common in the months of April, May, June. So in the time of the heat waves, very common throughout the country. Okay, March also it may start. So March, April, May, June, and the time of the heat waves is common. So basically, if you have to define in simple terms, means it is a period of abnormally high temperature. So IMD gives warnings. Or let's say forecast or warning for heat wave. Mostly it will be given by the IMD. Okay, and states will give this as a local level disaster. Okay, states will declare as a local level disaster. And what is that called as? The criteria, if you look at the criteria for heat waves. So this is a bit important. IMD has given some criteria. In the time of the heat waves, if so IMD criteria. Okay, these are the IMD criteria. So if temperature greater than 40 degrees and let's say 4.5 degree to 6.4 degree above normal. Okay, if the temperature is greater than 40 degrees Celsius and 4.5 to 6.4 degree above normal. So this we call as normal heat wave. This is called as normal heat wave. And if it goes greater than 6.4 degree above normal, so that we call as severe heat wave. Okay. Along with temperature greater than 40. Okay. So temperature has to be greater than 40 and 6.4 degrees above normal. That one is severe heat. Okay. And based on absolute temperature, so this is based on in the criteria we call it as based on deviation from normal. This is deviation from normal basis la idu. Adu one criteria. Another is based on absolute temperature. So greater than 45 degrees now, that we call as normal heat wave. Greater than or equal to 47 now, that we call as severe heat wave. Yes, greater than 45 is normal heat wave, greater than 47 na severe heat wave. Up to unknown, what is that called? Greater than 30 degree in hilly areas. Greater than 37 in coastal region. Okay, hilly area la 37, I'm sorry, 30 mala, and coastal region greater than 37. So these are the IMD criteria. Okay, it is not, or you should say that it is not considered till 30 degree for hilly region and till 37 for coastal region. So after that, when it goes only, we count that consider as heat wave. And then you know about heat waves. If, yeah, then you can write that states can declare as local disasters. Okay, they can declare it as local disasters. Yes. அதுக்கப்புறம் so heat waves la என்னென்ன நடக்கும் effect means so that will be known to you. So it can cause heat stroke, sunburn, sun allergy, skin cancers, exhaustion, dehydration, worst case la fatalities இருக்கலாம். So இதெல்லாம் effect. Okay, dehydrating, exhausting, fatality, sun allergy, skin allergy, so everything. I think this you'll be knowing. And also some precautions are advised. So என்ன precautions advice பண்ணிருக்கு அப்படின்னா what precautions are advised means regular ones like wearing cotton clothes and using umbrella, use of sunglasses, what else, taking adequate hydration, okay, like a tender coconut and lemon, those sort of things, and not going out during hot summers. And in the places of cooking, adequate ventilation is advised. Keeping the doors and windows open while cooking, and avoiding cooking during the peak summer afternoon hours. Adum advice பண்ணிருக்கு. Also diet, low protein diet is advised. Low protein diet and non-stale food. This is also advised. And avoiding dehydrating beverages like tea, coffee, then alcohol, then carbonated soft drinks. So these are to be avoided. So because they cause dehydration, இதெல்லாம் avoid பண்ண சொல்லி advice. Okay, protein diets are also it is to be avoided as per the government advisory. Okay. So this is about heat waves. Okay, and and next disaster is about this Taiwan earthquake. Okay, so recently Taiwan had earthquake. So earthquake enna problem na, it was one of the most severe quakes in 25 years. And or magnitude greater than 7.4. Okay, greater than 7.4 Richter magnitude. Yes, so that happened. So it caused large scale destruction and everything. So எதுக்காக இது இந்த இடத்துல earthquake நடந்துச்சுன்னா, you know that it is located along Pacific ring of fire. Yes, Pacific ring of fire. You know what this is, right? Plate tectonic subduction zone, where denser plate subducts below the lighter plate. So crustal disturbance, seismic disturbances, and then earthquakes are generated. So Taiwanல specific-ஆ ஏன் நடந்துச்சுன்னா, because of the meeting between Philippine plate and Eurasian plate. So Taiwan is located at the convergence zone of Philippine plate and Eurasian plate. So அந்த இடத்துல it happened. Okay. So overall, this Pacific ring of fire is actually, it is a 40,000 kilometer chain. Okay, before we go for that, so in the Taiwan, they also gave tsunami warning. Okay, in regard of this Taiwan earthquake, tsunami warning was given. Okay, tsunami warning was given in for this Ryukyu Islands. Ryukyu Islands of Japan. So Ryukyu Islands of Japan Taiwan earthquake nadakkumbodhu tsunami warning was given. So yeah, for your mapping it will help. Okay, Ryukyu Islands engana, you say that it is lying to the north of Taiwan and it lies below Kyushu. Japan nalu main island, like how Indonesia has some big main islands, likewise some 4 main islands are there in Japan: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. So on the Kyushu அடியில இருக்கிறது தான் Ryukyu. Ryukyu is a small chain. On the Ryukyu Islands, they gave this tsunami warning. So you say that it lies between Kyushu. So Kyushu is in the main homeland of Japan. Like இப்போ எப்படி நம்மளுக்கு அந்தமான் தனியா இருக்கோ, likewise Japan is one integrated chain, some 4 big islands are there. But like அவங்களோட Ryukyu Islands ஒரு தனி bit மாதிரி இருக்கு. Like how we have Andaman and Lakshadweep separate from us. And this Kyushu is north of Taiwan. Kyushu illa, Ryukyu Island is north of Taiwan. Okay, and yeah, you can also write that Ryukyu is in East China Sea. Ryukyu Island is in East China Sea. Okay, so this Ryukyu is in East China Sea, and it houses a place called as Okinawa. So US has military bases. Yes. So, oh yeah, okay. Shall I change? So coming back to this Pacific ring of fire. The Pacific ring of fire this is actually about 40,000 kilometers long. So if you see world and the distribution pathana, so it is a zone of subduction. So the majority of world's earthquakes and volcanoes will occur. So basically it is a 40,000 kilometer chain, and it is home to 75% quakes and about 90% volcanoes. But the number of rigid you say you keep it approximately like 70% quakes also you can keep, and 80% volcanoes. So forget this number. Okay, a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes are occurring, and so it is a 40,000 kilometer stretch. So what are the plates there? Means Pacific plate is there. Okay, and then Philippine plate is there, Japan plate is there, Cocos, Nazca, Juan de Fuca, and then Eurasian plate, Indo-Australian plate, American plate, North American plate, South American plate. So like these, many plates are involved. So when wherever the denser plate is subducting below the lighter plate, quakes now volcanoes nadakum. And what are the countries where it is spreading over means New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Japan, yes, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Japan, USA, Chile, Canada, Guatemala, Russia, Peru, Mexico, Solomon Islands. Solomon Islands வந்து near New Zealand, Australia, அந்த region இருக்கு. Okay. It is part of Pacific Oceania group of nations. So Solomon Islands and Antarctica also. So I gave you this list for that only. Antarctica is also part of this. Okay, in the chain Antarctica wound. Yeah. So that is about Pacific Ring of Fire. So I just have an idea over where and all it is spreading. Okay. So this is about this about these disasters and all that. And another next, the last one is final theme for today is Indian workers in Israel. Indian workers in Israel. ஸோ இது வந்து எப்படின்னா அந்த இஸ்ரேல்ல வந்து வார் நடக்க ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது ஜஸ்ட் when that Hamas and Israel war started, that time Israel, lot of Palestinians are working in Israel in various sectors, especially construction jobs and all that. But in the war start ஆகும்போது இஸ்ரேல் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா they did not want Palestinians to be working. அந்த Palestinian workforce வந்து லாஸ் ஆகும்போது because of the Palestinian workforce getting lost, they had to compensate it by bringing in some other people. So அதுக்காக வந்து தான் they thought okay, let's approach India because Israel has good ties with India. So and we have huge population, huge workforce. There are so many people in need of job. So it was like so they wanted to compensate the loss of Palestinian workforce. That was the reason for inviting Indians. Okay, so they placed a request to India and India agreed. So, but now the scenario there has worsened so much that now recently yesterday, I think Ministry of External Affairs, they gave an advisory asking not to travel to Iran and Israel and all that. But adukku nadula one batch of workers have already left for, recently they left to Israel. Okay, so some 60 plus workers have gone. They've left to work in Israel. And so you can say 60 plus construction workers left, and around 6,000 workers are going to be going there in April, May. So April, May, some 6,000 workers are, the plan is to send some 6,000 workers. And in this, what is that called? Yeah, so the first, you can say that the first batch, the 60 plus is the first batch. Okay, so they left in the first week of April, and coming very soon, another 6,000 people will be leaving. Okay. And this was because you can also write that Israel had raised urgent request for construction workers in November 2023. And the war when they start another October, November 2023, they raised a request for construction workers. அதை satisfy பண்றதுக்காக இந்தியா வந்து அனுப்பி வச்சிருக்காங்க அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்லிடலாம். And so NSDC, okay, there was a body, there's an agency called as NSDC, National Skill Development Council. So they started a recruitment drive in UP and Haryana. So UP landu Haryana landu nariya workers vandu they selected, okay, by giving them some skills and all that, they were selected to be sent to Israel. Yeah. And now what is the problem? So little bit, or before we see the problem and all that, just note down these things about NSDC. NSDC stands for National Skill Development Council. It was actually formed was formed. So right, it was formed as PPP model by Ministry of. So it is government plus private sector ownership. It was formed under Ministry of Finance, but now it is under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So இப்போ வந்து Ministry of Finance இல்ல, now it is under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So NSDC oda ownership, if you see that, it is around 51% private and 49% is MSD. Okay, or 49% is under government ownership. Yes, MSD owns 49% and private sector is 51%. So எதுக்காக இந்த National Skill Development Council now? The idea is to facilitate skill development initiatives countrywide. So they will incentivize private sector to establish vocational training, skill training centers, because Indiaல வந்து ஒரு huge workforce இருக்கு. Skilling ப்ராப்பரா பண்ணலனா அவங்கள அந்த பொட்டன்ஷியலை வந்து டேப் பண்ண முடியாது. So to tap it, this body is formed. Okay, so it is a partnership between government and private and all that. So just see this. Okay, it is and also you can write that it is a non-profit company. Okay, it is a non-profit entity under section 25 of Companies Act 2013. So it is under it is formed under Companies Act of 2013. அதுக்கடியில வர ஒரு okay. So now coming back to this Israel thing. So Israel போறதுல என்ன பிரச்சனை அப்படின்னா, actually there is a portal called as e-migrate. Okay, there is a portal called as e-migrate. There's a portal called as e-migrate portal. So இதுல வந்து there are some so basically here whoever is leaving abroad will register. So all the workers who are leaving abroad, they will register on this portal. They will create a profile. So அவங்க வந்து எங்க போய் வேலை பார்க்க போறாங்க அந்த டீடைல்ஸ்லாம் வந்து they will upload. They will create a profile. They'll upload the details and then they will get the immigration clearance. Okay, they will get immigration clearance. So அவங்க details வந்து அவங்க upload பண்ணப்புறம் வந்து like the government will say that okay fine you're safe to go there அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு clearance கொடுத்துட்டு then these people will go, because when they're going and working abroad safety is needed, right? So to facilitate that, this e-migrate portal is there. Okay, but in the Israel for workers வந்து there has been there is no provision to make them register through this e-migrate portal. So there is no here, so Israel workers not made to register. So those who are going to Israel, anga vandu it is such a dangerous place where it's a war is happening. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இடத்துக்கு போறாங்க, but they've not been made to register on this migrate portal. And ECR countries அப்படின்ட்டு ஒன்று. Okay, there are some 18 ECR countries. 18 ECR countries means immigration clearance required. Okay, immigration clearance required. So on the 18 countries, எப்படின்னா they are countries where labor norms are not strict. So laborக்கு வந்து proper rights கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி countries இருக்கும். யார் இந்த 18 ECR countries? Or it may be violence prone environment. Okay, so who are the 18 ECR countries means either labor norms will not be proper, illana violence jastiya irukra idam, it's not safe. So on the 18 ECR countries la vandu the problem is that it has many countries, but Israel not on this list. So their workers, the question raised is that Israel is under so much of war and violence. So அவங்கள எப்படி நீங்க இந்த ECR immigration clearance required criteria வைக்காம இருக்கலாம். So who are the, and you don't have to write down the countries, but what are the countries that are included means Afghan, Bahrain, Iraq, Indonesia, Saudi, Qatar, Jordan, Libya, Lebanon, Malaysia, Oman, South Sudan, Syria, Sudan, Thailand, UAE, Yemen. So இதெல்லாம் தான் 18 immigration clearance required countries, saying that labor norms are not proper, இல்லைன்னா violence இருக்கிற environment அப்படின்னு சொல்லி வச்சிருக்காங்க. But Israel is not on this list. Okay. And also we are not making the workers register on the e-migrate portal. So அவங்க போறாங்கங்கிறதுக்கு வந்து we are not even maintaining the records. So how are we even going to protect them? So that is the question being raised. And this ECR, for these ECR countries, the workers who are going there, they need something called as ECR passports. ECR passports. In the மாதிரி இடத்துக்கு போறவங்களுக்கு வந்து ECR passports, which is given under immigration. So யாருக்கு இந்த ECR passport கொடுப்பாங்கன்னா, for people studied below class 10. So it is for the lower rung workers. The சின்ன lower level jobsல வேலை பார்க்குறவங்க. For them only, அவங்களுக்கு தான் இந்த job related lot of this like labor laws சரியா இல்லாம, social security cover இல்லாம, medical insurance இல்லாம, they will only be working in these bad conditions. So this ECR passport is mainly for those who have studied below class 10 or do not have certificate to prove that they've studied more. ஒன்னு அவங்க 10th கம்மியா தான் படிச்சிருக்காங்க, இல்லனா அதுக்கு மேல படிச்சிருந்தாலும் they are not having certificate to prove that they've studied more. So for them, ECR passports are facilitated under Immigration Act, so that the labor norms and everything is not violated. So it is a sort of protection that we do for them. Okay, and one more is so yeah. So this is the scenario now. So India வந்து என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, how they are sending to Israel means India, how it is justifying. Okay, so how we are justifying means we are saying that we are sending to Israel under India Israel Mobility Partnership Okay, we are sending them under India-Israel Mobility Partnership Agreement 2023. So in the partnership, we are talking about security, insurance, okay, working conditions. So we are justifying saying that we have made an agreement with Israel saying that Indian workers have to be protected. Avangaloda security patti, wages patti, medical insurance, working conditions, all that is negotiated under this agreement is what we are saying. And we have also stated that Israel is one OECD country. Israel is an OECD country. OECD means, okay, so Israel is in it. OECD means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Some of the developed countries in the world are அவங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரு grouping. So OECD ஓட இது என்னன்னா, they have actually robust labor laws. Robust labor laws. That means labor protection is there. Naturally itself, OECD countries, labor or working condition protection it is given to a good extent. So Israel is an OECD country. So adanala, the condition of our workers is safe only, like that we are justifying. Okay. And one more is that there are some ILO conventions. Okay. So one was 1949 convention, இன்னொன்று வந்து 1975 convention relating to this migrant labor. And the convention name என்னன்னா migration for employment. Okay, migration for Okay. Another, the 1975 convention is also the same name. So migration for employment, a supplementary convention. Okay, just write it as supplementary. So India is not signatory to both of these. Okay, so India has not signed both. So India not signed both. இதுல வந்து Israel is the okay. So it is being believed that Israel will protect the migrant workers who are coming from India. Okay, second இது வந்து இஸ்ரேலும் சைன் பண்ணல, இந்தியா வந்து ரெண்டுமே சைன் பண்ணல. Okay, so that you keep in mind. And yeah, so one more another thing. So this is the justification given by India, and so we saw that they are questioning and all that. And இன்னொரு ரீசன் வந்து என்னன்னா, the workers who are being sent, they have been made to pay service charges in excess of 30,000 rupees. Immigration Actல வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒருத்தர் வெளியே வந்து அனுப்பும் போது we should not levy any service charge greater than 30,000 rupees. But these workers, they have to pay a lot of money for skilling, then they have to pay fees to NSDC and all that. So they have paid money greater than 30,000 rupees. So for that also they were fighting. So this is the scenario. And but anyway, the Indians have left and all that. And some more things that you have to know with respect to this. Indians in Israel, if you see, greater than 18,000 Indians are there. And they are in care work. They are in construction. They are working as, they are as present as students. They are as IT professionals. So care work means in the nursing job, many of them are involved. A lot of elderly people are there in Israel, and they've deployed Indian population in nursing related jobs. Okay. And yeah, one more thing. There is this global, these are some statistics. Okay, shall I rub this? So that is about the Israel thing. Israel pati mundiruchu. And just these are some common things. Okay, global migration report 2020. So the published பண்ணது வந்து International Organization for Migration. It is published by International Organization for Migration. It is a UN specialized agency related to migration. So இவங்க கொடுத்த ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ் படி நம்மளோட டயஸ்போரா, இந்தியன் டயஸ்போரா எங்கெங்க மேக்ஸிமம் இருக்கிறாங்கன்னா, மேக்ஸிமம் they are in UAE. So UAE is the number 1 country. Next is USA. அதுக்கப்புறம் Saudi. Okay, so maximum Indian diaspora. Yes. Next is USA. Next is Saudi. And after that, Malaysia, then UK. Next is Malaysia, then UK. So you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this is the Indian diaspora strength. So maximum in UAE. And one more report called as Global Migration Highlights 2020. So in the report they are published banana, it was published by UN DESA. UN DESA stands for United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. So இவங்க வந்து they published something called as Global Migration Highlights. So according to this, India has 18 million migrants, okay, or immigrants, and this is the largest in the world. Yes, this is the largest in the world. அப்புறம் இன்னொரு World Bank also they published the report. I'm not able to remember the name. So according to that World Bank report, Indian migrants are the largest remittance senders. அதாவது வெளிய இருந்து இந்தியாக்குள்ள அனுப்புற மணி So எந்த workers, எந்த countryயோட workers இருக்கிறதுலே ஜாஸ்தி அனுப்புறாங்கன்னா that is India. Okay, that was given by World Bank in a report. I don't know the name of the report. Okay, it was stated in a World Bank. So these are some facts that you have to know with respect to this migration and all that. And shall I change? அப்புறம் NRI. Okay, NRI is nothing but non-resident Indian. So someone who was greater than for greater than 182 years in okay, for greater than 182 days in a financial year, they're living outside India, but they have close ties to, so they have close ties with the homeland, but 182 days of a financial year, they're living outside India. அவங்கள வந்து NRI ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். அப்புறம் these people, okay, by Representation of People Amendment Act 2010, Representation of People Amendment Act of 2010, they were given right to. So 2010, we recognized their right to vote. Before that, they didn't have voting right. They have to come here and vote. Okay, now we are looking at the proxy voting for them. அது இன்னும் facilitate பண்ணல, but that is in the pipeline. So in the future, it will come. Shall I change? And one more category is the OCI. So OCI means Overseas Citizen of India. Overseas Citizen of India. So they have actually permanent residency to OCI and their spouses. So they have permanent residency. Okay, or you can call it as lifelong visa. Okay, so they can live here, they can work here, they can have a bank account. Okay, they can buy property. So a lot of things they can do. Yes. So this is the thing. And we were talking about the reports. Now, one more report you can write down. ILO, they produce, they gave World Employment and Social Outlook Trends 2024 report. World Employment and Social Outlook Trends 2024 report. Okay, so அதுல அவங்க என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா global unemployment is set to rise in 2024. So எல்லா இடத்துலயும் வந்து unemployment rise ஆகும். So the countries should focus on skilling and they should identify job intensive sectors to address the unemployment crisis அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்லி it was stated in this report. Okay. And another fact, if you want, you can note, there's a parliamentary standing committee on external affairs. So in the வெளிய போய் வேலை பார்க்குற migrants regarding that, there is a parliamentary standing committee called as Standing Committee on External Affairs. Okay, so yes, so this is about this migrant workers and everything. Okay, so this, okay, it's done.